Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and I'm here with some Heart of the Swarm action. Two cool players are going to be battling it out in front of us today, so let me get straight to the point and introduce them. Down in the lower right position, spawning as the red Zerg player, he plays for Team Liquid. I had the honour of meeting him and seeing him win the EZvT UK Masters Finals just a short time ago. It is Mr. Snute. And his opponent, up in the top left, the blue Terran from Empire, BratOK. Now, BratOK, he is a cool guy. I've been casting his games for a long time. Snute is also really awesome. Actually, him, TLO, and Red were an absolute pleasure to have at the EZvT UK Masters. So much fun to chill out with them afterwards. Snute with his giant check. Red getting rather inebriated with a Northerner, which was always good fun to watch. And they had a high five contest at one point, which involved a complete run-up. It was pretty crazy, and unfortunately one of the British team managers had an imprint of Red's hand on his arm for about a week. But that's another story. Things that happen in the bar after a LAN should stay in the bar after a LAN. But that's a little insight on why you should come along to any live gaming event you can possibly get to. So, in terms of strategy, we've got a 1-Rax opener at the moment from BratOK. Going to be 1-Rax Command Center. It's a big map. You want to get that expansion out relatively soon. Meanwhile, Snute, he'll go for a 15 hatch because, well, Zerg players have been going 15 hatch against Terran for all eternity. I don't actually remember the last time. Well, actually I do. In terms of just regular, normal builds, I can't remember that normal standard play wasn't going for a 15 hatch. It was eons ago, but that's fine. We can cope with this. There are some fun things you can do. BratOK actually not going to go 1-Rax Command Center. Going to get up a gas, so I'm going to be looking to grab out just a bit of tech early on, possibly going to go 1 Marine, 1 Reaper, just to get a little bit more information about what Snute's doing, and that just allows you to apply some pressure, not too much, but just enough to maybe get your opponent a little bit worried. So ultimately, Snute, he should be fine against this. He's getting a couple more drones out, hasn't sired his Overlord yet because he's getting the gas. This is a very normal timing of things you'll see, where you go up to 17, grab a gas, grab another drone, and then should build an Overlord. And the only thing you've got to be worried about is you don't really want to delay your queens. So as long as you're not delaying queens, that's fine. You want to push out as many drones as you can before that point. But all in all, this SCV scout going to come over. We've got the barracks now floating down, and is actually probably going to grab an add-on. So there we go. A reactor is on its way. Here comes down the command center. The gas still getting mined. 3 SCVs in there, so not a big commitment. Just getting out a few more Marines. The Overlord is on its way through. Sees the Marine on the ramp though. Is like, no, do not want to be going up that ramp. I will die, and I don't want to die yet. Snute will be very mad, and Snute would be mad if this Overlord went down so early in the game, because it'd be a supply block, and it's quite a substantial supply block at 28, so definitely do not want to be losing that first Overlord. The gas still are mining, the reactor nearly finished, so are we gonna... It's a bit late to see Reapers, so I don't think we'll be getting that. There comes down the factory. So that's fine. It's just a bit of a strange build at the moment. The reason it's a bit strange is because that gas came out early. Generally speaking, you see a 1-Rax command center into double gas into this sort of play. But getting the 1 gas just means you're mining slightly more minerals for slightly longer. So it doesn't matter too much. The double queens are now out. 2 more will probably start in production as well, because current metagame is just Zerg players getting out all 4 queens very early on. It's an incredibly effective way to hold off Hellion Harass, get great creep spread, and on Acklon waste you really do want a lot of creep tumors, because there's a good number of attack paths which you do need to cover, which I'm just highlighting on screen now. So as long as you cover all of those attack paths, you're generally very secure. The other thing, which of course I know Snute will be very cautious of, is making sure that he doesn't get dropped. You need a lot of Overlord placements on this map, especially around your main and 4th, because there's such a large amount of dead space. But as we see, the Overlord already going its way across, going to go and position itself very nicely to know what's coming up. We'll probably see one up here. Oh, we've already got one up here, so that is all very nice out of the Liquid player. BratOK, he's starting his Hellion production now, just getting 2 out. He could have gone for a couple of Widow Mines, but generally speaking that's a bit more defensive as opposed to offensive. The command center also starting up very early. This is just really forcing Snute to take his 3rd and 4th now relatively quickly. But Snute, he's having none of that. He's going for a bit of aggression. 9 roaches, 11 roaches now out, 12. This is really quite a big commitment out of him, and not something I'm used to seeing. Generally speaking, you'll get a couple of roaches out just to make sure that you're safe against these Hellions, but seriously, 12, that is a big commitment to moving across the map with. And actually, against this sort of opening from BratOK, where he's gone for that greedy command center, it is going to be hugely effective. The Hellions do come in now, see a couple of roaches, see a couple more, and are just going to think, ooh, I do not want that. Bunker should get thrown down now, just to be on the safe side. And actually building a bunker up on the high ground, BratOK knows that there's a lot of units coming his way, and he's got to be exceptionally careful as they move in. Speed is getting research at the moment for Snute as well. So he is really committing heavily to this push. We see no third hatchery. It's got to deal a lot of damage. BratOK knows he's got to chuck down more units, already pulling the SCVs. These two supply depots are forfeit. They need to be rebuilt somewhere relatively quickly, unless, of course, Snute does try and just keep powering up the ramp. The Widowmine does get a shot off, but microing back. The Warlock is not yet down. There's a gap the other side as well, so it'd be pointless even putting up that supply depot. But the Hellions are going to really not do very much against roaches, but the Marauders at the back, as long as they aren't getting shot down too quickly, will be able to help significantly. A second Marauder now hits the field. That is going to be very beneficial. We see the roaches taking out supply depots, supply blocking BratOK, and this is all delaying the third command center, everything being revealed, and BratOK really is in danger mode right now. He's got to deal with incredibly effective. Two Widow Mines up on the high ground will help, and this command center may actually be forced to cancel, and if Snute is able to force the cancel here, it is going to be very good news for him, because a lot of BratOK's play was pinned on that, and indeed we do see the cancel now go down. This orbit command will be forced to lift as well. That's just delaying things, and Snute taking his third base behind this, so transitioning out a very heavy aggression. It's not an all-in, it's just him being incredibly aggressive, and BratOK now somewhat forced into a bit of an all-in situation, because he's getting forced to make an awful lot of additional production facilities. He is restarting a third up in the main, but he's got to try and do some kind of counter damage, because Snute, he's been able to still pull very far ahead in terms of the worker count behind this. All he did was drone. He's done good damage. He's delayed the third base, which is the main playstyle of BratOK, and BratOK is now really just on factory tech. He doesn't have any starports down, so no medevacs. He will have stims shortly, but he's going to have to try and do something, because if he just sits back now, Snute can snowball so easily. He knows his opponent had an intention of trying to get down the third very quickly. Needs to identify in the main base that it is getting restarted, because if he identifies that it's on its way back down again, he can then throw either the fourth or go for wave 2 of the push. And judging by how many roaches are in construction right now, he is definitely going to be going for some more pain. Macro hatch is also nearly complete. Lair is done, but roach speed, as I say, roach speed isn't started. Snute starts roach speed. But this is just going to allow Snute to really start snowballing. He's also getting the 1-1 melee upgrades. And the reason that's significant is because it's really showing that he doesn't want to commit to Roach Hydra or even the roaches long term. He's instead just looking for a way out of this, a way to take this to the longer game. But as we see, BratOK really not looking in a good spot at the moment. Worker count wise, Snute up at 56, just 39. Not even Mules balance that out, and so Snute, he's just got to keep doing what he's doing. He's pumping units, and if he pumps this many units, this many roaches, he's either expecting a counter push or he's going to go for some aggression. Either way, it's got to do something nice. Here comes some Widow Mines. They need to get taken out relatively quickly, because if they burrow, these can start knocking out roaches fairly easily, but they have not burrowed yet, and here comes the push out of BratOK. If Snute is able to defend this, he's going to be absolutely fine. The Widow Mines, they'll burrow, and of course, if Snute is not prepared for them, he could get baited straight over the top of them, dealing a lot of damage to clump up roaches. The rocks are getting taken down for Snute to try and take his fourth base. He hasn't taken the fifth or sixth gas yet. This is getting really quite tense, but more roaches are in production. The Widow Mines have now been spotted. Good spread. Snute pulling back, doesn't want to overcommit. Running the Overlords over first to trigger the Widow Mines. Such a smart move out of Snute. Did exactly the same thing against Sting in the finals of the ESET UK Masters. So he is very comfortable dealing with Widow Mines. He doesn't think they're good units at all, and now he is just pushing forward. BratOK is in a serious amount of problems. Snute smells blood. He is just pumping units behind. There's so many roaches. Roach speed is now in effect. More Marines are going down. Overlords are leading the charge, just to make sure Widow Mines trigger on them and not the roaches. A couple more Widow Mines burrowing back in the natural, but BratOK, without any tanks, he's going to really struggle to hold off this push. So many units here. In come the Overlords, but unfortunately not quite ahead of the curve, and just straight through this wall off. Snute, he is pushing forward, and I think BratOK is going to be forced to GG now. He is nearly at half his opponent's supply, and this infantry is just dying oh so quickly. The Marauder's not even able to help. Creep spread going down as well, just making sure that, you know what, I want my units moving as quickly as possible. I want to delay any production. You've got just more roaches streaming across the map. BratOK now under half his opponent's supply, and there is the GG. Snute successfully took the game in some very nice pressure, showing that aggressive Zerg strategy in Heart of the Swarm really can pay off well for you. So I hope everyone enjoyed the cast. If you did, like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe, and I'll see each and every one of you tomorrow for yet another new game. I'm Madals, thanks for watching, catch you soon.